Hey guys, what's up? Today's video was requested by SweetSpot16. If you guys have any other video that you would like me to make, then please let me know in the comments below and hopefully I'll be able to make that video for you. Also, before you ask me any question, please make sure to read the description box first. I've put all the frequently asked questions there. So, I assume you guys are already familiar with the word fanfiction. It is a fiction written by a fan featuring characters from a particular TV series, movie, anime, etc. I've seen in the comments that a lot of you seem to enjoy reading fanfiction, as do I, so hopefully you'll find this video useful to you. If you don't like fanfiction, then hopefully you'll still find this video entertaining to watch. I've been reading and writing fanfics for years, and even though I'm not an excellent writer myself, as both a reader and a writer, I do have some tips that you might find useful if you want to make a decent fanfic. First of all, have a plot. Before you start writing, make sure you know the plot to your story. I suggest making a short outline first, filling the introduction, conflict, climax, falling action, and finally resolution. Don't write a story where the main character finds the love of their life as soon as the story begins and then lives happily ever after without facing any conflict at all, because a story without any conflict is not a real story. If you've watched any Disney films or read any classic stories as a child, which I'm sure you guys have, you might have noticed that the conflict and climax there are very harsh and heavy. And even though those conflicts were very painful to watch, they surely made the stories more interesting to follow because we want to know the resolution of the conflicts. Imagine if Cinderella never got bullied by her stepmother and stepsisters and was allowed to go to the ball with them. Surely we wouldn't be able to witness the fairy godmother in action. Or imagine if Mufasa had never died. Simba might not have turned into a very good king when he grew up, and he might have become a selfish and spoiled king instead. Having a clear plot is also necessary to ensure that you will finish writing your fanfic. If you don't know where the story is going, it'll be hard for you to see the ending to your writing, let alone finish it. Make sure the canon characters that you're using in your fanfic stay in character. For example, you can't expect Draco Malfoy to be nice to a Muggle-born Gryffindor just because she's your original character that you're pairing up with him. Draco is a bully who hates everything related to Muggles, so you can't just make him be nice to a Muggle-born without any good reason behind it. Another pet peeve of mine regarding this point is when you make a character bitchy for the sake of being a detestable love rival. I'll use a well-known anime for this example. Let's say you make a fanfic pairing your original character with Naruto, and in this story, your love rival will have to be Hinata. As we all know, Hinata is a shy and kind-hearted girl, so you can't just suddenly turn her into a nasty yandere bitch just because you don't want her to end up with Naruto. Can you imagine Hinata saying something like this?
How dare that girl hang around Naruto all day? Naruto is mine! I know, I'll just have to spike her drink and stab her when she's sleeping. Then she'll be sorry to have messed around with me.
Can you really see a nice girl like Hinata acting like that? I surely can't. Like I've said in my shoujo anime cliches video, you can still have a good love rival without turning her into a nasty bitch. So try to mess around with your story instead of turning the canon characters off character. Avoid creating a Marisu and reader insert. If you don't know what a Marisu is, it is a female character who is unrealistically perfect and doesn't have any flaw in her. The male version of that is called Garistu or Maristu, but Marisu is more commonly used in fanfic rather than Garistu. A reader insert is when a character, who is actually the real author behind that work of fiction, appears as a character within that fiction. The reason why I combine Marisu and reader insert into one point is because when an author inserts herself into her story and makes her the main character, she tends to make that character perfect and free from any flaw. This is my biggest turn-off when it comes to reading fanfictions. Before I give you an example for this, please don't get offended by what I'm about to say. Let's take the main character from Harry Potter and the one from Twilight. We see that Harry Potter, despite being the chosen one, still has multiple flaws in him. He's not the smartest student at school, he's gotten into a lot of troubles during his time at Hogwarts, and he's a pretty stubborn person, which can be annoying at times. And that's perfectly human because everyone has some annoying sides to them. Now let's take a look at Bella Swan from Twilight. She's very smart, already steps ahead from everyone else in her class without even trying to. She's very beautiful that every boy that she meets immediately falls in love with her, including Edward, who's never fallen in love with anyone else before, even though he has lived for more than 100 years. She even has the special ability to block Edward from reading her mind, unlike anyone else Edward has ever encountered. The only flaw that she has is that she's extremely clumsy and trips on herself a lot, and even that flaw is seen as something endearing to her love interest, so it doesn't really count as a flaw. Seem familiar? Now, when you read about those two characters, which one is more relatable to you? A character who is perfectly human, or a character who is more perfect than a vampire even before turning into a vampire herself? For me, I definitely find Harry more relatable and overall a much better character than Bella. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't like Twilight because of this. If you like the series, then I have nothing against that. Feel free to like what you want, it's none of my business. So going back to the fanfiction topic, if you make an original character, make sure to not make her a Marisu and make sure to not insert yourself into that character. Because if you insert yourself to that character, if someone happens to criticize that character, you'll feel extremely offended because that means that person is criticizing you as a person. If you want to know whether your character is a Marisu or not, you can take the Marisu test, which I will leave the link to it in the description box below. Don't use too many dialogues. I've seen a lot of fanfictions containing too many dialogues that I don't know what's actually happening around the characters aside from what they are saying to one another. Take a look at this example.
Hey Raph, Bonita said. What is it, Bon? Rafi answered. I'm hungry. But you've just eaten 5 plates of rice 5 minutes ago. What more do you want? Rafi asked. I don't care. I'm still hungry. Give me food! Bonita shouted. Wait, Bon! What are you doing? Stop! Rafi yelled back. Grrr! Bonita shouted again. No! Rafi screamed in pain as Bonita ate her last bar of chocolate.
I know what you might be thinking. What the heck did I just read? And that's the exact same thought that I usually have whenever I read that type of fanfictions. Dialogues are necessary to use in your story, but make sure to not go overboard with it. Don't write too much description. Like the previous point, description is also essential to your story, but make sure to not go overboard with it. You don't need to write a long paragraph describing how your character looks or what clothes they are wearing.
Raven looks into the mirror as she gets ready for the day. She wears a black tank top that has "I don't care what you think" written in the stomach area, a black leather glove on her right hand, and a bright pink glove on her left hand to show that she's both dark and edgy at the same time. A black leather miniskirt with ripped stockings underneath it, and black knee-length leather boots with spikes all over them, which are inspired by her favorite band, My Chemical Romance. She lets her long ebony hair down so it reaches her ankle and sweeps the floor behind her as she walks into the cold, dark night. Finally, she covers herself with a long black hooded cloak to hide her identity from her secret admirers.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but as a reader, I honestly don't care what that character is wearing. At least not to that extent. I mean, just get on with the story already! Use the correct point of view. If I'm not mistaken, there are 3 types of point of views. First person, second person, and third person. When you decide to use a first or second point of view, you have to remember that it is limited to just one character's point of view. You can't write about what happens to the other characters when your character is not looking. For example,
Draco is secretly staring at me while blushing heavily, but I'm too busy to notice it since I'm paying attention to what Professor McGonagall is saying in class.
you can't talk about how Draco is secretly stealing glances at you when you're too busy listening to the professor to notice him. If you're using your character's point of view, then the only thing you can talk about at that moment is what the professor is teaching you in class. So make sure to know the limit of each point of view and use it correctly. Don't fill up your story with song lyrics. This is another huge turnoff for me. When I click on a fanfiction, I expect to read a story, not a whole song lyric filling up the entire page from the beginning to the end. The most common abuse of song lyrics in fanfictions is this. The main character will hear someone singing. Then the whole page will be filled up with some love song lyrics. The main character finds the singer and turns out that singer is their love interest. The love interest confesses to the main character and then they live happily ever after. Where's the story in that? That's just song lyrics disguised as a fanfic. It's completely fine to write a songfic, but make sure to not fill up the entire story with the song lyrics. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called a fanfiction at all. It would just be some song lyrics with a little bit of modification here and there. Check your spelling and grammar. Make sure to use spell checker when you have finished writing your fanfiction in case you've misspelled anything. It's also a good idea to use beta readers to proofread your writings. Beta readers are people that can find and correct the mistakes in your writings that you don't even notice. But make sure the beta readers you're using have the qualified skills to check and correct your work. Finally, keep writing and don't take too long breaks. Personally, for me, when I take a long break from writing, it'll be hard for me to get back into it because I will lose my flow and my desire to write. So make sure to keep on writing your fanfiction even though you don't publish it immediately. Don't worry about your fanfic not being perfect when you write it because you can easily correct it later. It's completely okay to take a break, but make sure to get back into it as soon as you can, otherwise you lose your desire to finish your fanfic. So those were all the fanfiction tips I could share with you guys. I hope you guys found them useful. Now I have a question for you guys. Have you ever written any fanfiction before? If you have, which fandom did you write about? If you don't write fanfictions but enjoy reading them, then what kind of fanfiction do you enjoy reading the most? Leave your answer in the comment box below because I would really love to read them all. So that's all from me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you for those of you who have subscribed to me. If you haven't, then please be sure to click on the shiny subscribe button below. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends if you enjoyed watching it. And I will see you on my next one. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye.